UGC is dead. The best way how to approach UGC right now is spending $100,000, then 10K-ish you're gonna be spending on producing creatives.
There is a creative strategist that's super important role. Obviously, you have the media buyer.
They cracked the game.
Well, guys, we have a tremendous conversation here with Danil. Last name? Salukov. So Danil is a founder of Insense. So if you can break down into words what Insense does.
Sure. Insense is a creator marketplace that helps e-commerce brands to scale their UGC and influencer programs.
Awesome. And so, we'll have conversation about UGC, like social platforms, how to drive sales with whitelisting as well, like which is one of the like great features that you guys have. Pretty much utilizing other pages, let's say when you're advertising on Meta, utilizing not just your page, but also the pages of, other content creators and influencers and running ads from those. So we'll discuss all of those. Also where overall, this social, we just had a brief conversation before this, before we started recording, how overall like the social game is changing. There's different things that are happening and, very excited to learn from you because you're like hands-on. These guys are certified like Meta partners.
Meta, TikTok, and Snap.
Meta, TikTok, and Snapchat.
Official partners as a creative and creator tech partners. So we're leveraging first-party data, have the integration with APIs, having the access to alpha and beta, building greater relations with them, receiving some funds or some leads from them. So have been built greater relations and continue investing in those.
Awesome. And only a few companies been able to do that, right?
In our space, only a few. Not kind of like 2 or 3, but a few dozen.
Let's start with UGC. I know UGC is something that, a lot of people are like utilizing and still, very powerful. So from your experience, like what differentiates, bad UGC content from a, very good, like high performing UGC content? Because I mean, you have overview of like thousands and tens of thousands of pieces of content. So what's
there is a thing that have been driven last year. UGC is dead, right? When people starting pushing this, Nick Shackelford, our friend, has been pushing this message like really hardly. But is it UGC really that or not? So obviously it's not, right? It's 50 or even 80% of creative library, creative library. It's still UGC for the majority of e-commerce brand. Though. Is it like the same as it was in 2021, 2022 when it was on the most hyped? No, it's not. So UGC is evolving. And those UGC that you've been running in 2021, you just hiring a bunch of micro-influencers, create UGC creators from Twitter and saying that, hey, I need this content, here's the hook, here's the thing, like just film any content. So it doesn't work. It doesn't apply. So first of all, you need to put the creative strategy behind, as always, for any type of the ad creative. Secondly, like creative briefing, right? And where UGC right now is evolving and how it's different, good and bad. So bad UGC is something that everyone does. So if you see that you copy pasting your competitor, not the smartest way, right? So because in the end of the day, how you're different from your competitor. Mm-hmm. It's what you're saying, but like the video, how you're saying it's not different, right? So that's why it's not smart strategy. So the smart strategy, it's know what your competitor is doing. It's cool to be observed. It's also cool to be observed like about trending. So what is trending on TikTok, for instance? Mm-hmm. So what is hype there, and then apply for that. But apply, not copy pasting, meaning that you need to put a thought there. And the best way how to approach UGC right now is what we found. Is that hook and CTA should be scripted, mm-hmm. meaning that professional marketer should put some thought around that and script basically what
the body of the ad, right?
Yeah, not the body, like hook and CTA. Though like the body should be flexible because that's the power of UGC, where the person can share the personal story, like tweaks, make some stupid joke or whatever, but something that will grab their attention, and that's why we love UGC, right? That's why it's performing so well. But though hook and CTA should be scripted by professional marketer and providing the different approaches. And also what we found that the second tip is that, the trend, you created a few things, you already you ship the product to creator mm-hmm. to produce the content. So why do not ask to produce a couple of hooks and a couple of CTAs? right? So you should ask multiple versions and multiple angles that the same creator can produce, and then you can mix it up. So this is the best approach. So in that case, you can repurpose the content and building your own raw material, because you can approach the content that have been produced even in 2022 and grab some of the pieces of the content and produce that. So this is the good UGC. The bad UGC, just completely copy pasting, or like the dumb way as it was in 2021. I will hire anyone who produces any content.
And so how do you find these like great like UGC creators? Because some people, because of they might enjoy it, or they might just have a talent for this, like, and they're bad on camera, they're better with communicating, they're better with like emotions. Like, how do you find these like good content creators?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's right now the situation is good and bad, in a way that there are so many professionals right now in UGC production. So because people have experience of the course of the past years, but at the same time, because it became like so popular and anyone can become a UGC creator, so anyone is not a professional, right? So that's why
barrier of entry is pretty low.
Exactly. So that's why you can get like into the situation where the creator might be really interesting, but at the same time can keep failing on deadlines. So which is not cool, right? It's not good to UGC creator. So that's why the best way how to approach that, either to ask your colleagues in the space, right, who can recommend any creators, or approaching some of the softwares that help you to and guide you, showcasing the reviews and the ranking of these creators.
And that's what you have inside of your platform.
Yes, that's the key reason why hundreds of brands is coming towards us.
Interesting. So on your platform, you basically have creators. Each one of them has, their own kind of like reputation.
Yep.
Right.
And it's a ranking. So it's a 5-star ranking. So after every deal, you have the opportunity to leave your ranking and for the deal, not for the creator, but for the deal. And then also why you like or dislike this. And then you can see all of this. And then we have creators who accomplish 200 deals or 100 deals. So in that case, you can say not only portfolio. Portfolio is a must, right? Whenever you're working with some software, or you're finding UGC creator on Twitter and asking them, like, always ask portfolio, right? Like, portfolio is at least showcasing some of the work, right? But at the same time, portfolio can stand out about the quality of the content that you're able to produce, but it's not stand out about how it's easy to communicate with you. So because sometimes creators are overloaded and they're missing deadlines, and that's what I need. So this is something that we're trying to automate in our process.
And so why in your experience do most companies, because I mean there is hundreds of thousands of e-commerce businesses, right? Just on Shopify platform.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there is maybe a few hundred or a few thousand that are like on top and doing very well. So what do you think most, companies, they're like underperforming on that side, or their game in terms of the content is simply not, very high?
A few things. They don't have creative strategy. You wouldn't be surprised, but we're talking to so many smaller brands, or just brands who just recently started. They might build a great product, right? And the product, like taste-wise or effect-wise, is really cool. And these people are really into this product, though like they might be lacking marketing experience. So that's why they're coming to us and saying, like, I need UGC. What kind of UGC? What is the objectives, right? What is the campaign objective? So for what platform? Oh, Meta. Okay, for Meta, but Meta is Meta, is Facebook or Instagram. You need to tell a bit more about that, and moreover, like, you need to have a creative strategy behind that. So right now, creative strategies is the key in the marketing team. So this is the person who actually way more important than even media buyer. Media buying right now is a pretty simple game. Meta will automate it. I am not saying that it's kind of you don't need to hire, like, you still need to have a professional, and there are a lot of professionals right now in the market. Though media buying game right now, it's not kind of what it was 10 years ago. So Meta and TikTok, they pretty much automated everything. So you feed a lot of information there. You set up the right structure inside of your ad account. Though at the same time, like, Meta will will make the whole magic, right?
Yeah, even like Advantage Plus campaigns,
Exactly.
right? Like that.
Exactly.
That thing is just you just set the country, you set what is it, age?
Yeah, and then just let them and feed more creatives, and then let Meta to decide and finding the winners, right? Because in the end of the day, Meta is striving for not only Meta but any platform is striving for finding the winners, because in that case you would be able to scale, right, and spend more. Right, if you would be spent more if it's actually driving positive unit economics, as simple as it is. So that's why media buying game is no longer the key. The key game is happening in creative strategy. So whenever it's UGC, it's could be different types of the content, but the point is that you need to have a thought behind of that. So that's why if you don't have that, hire the right agency who will help you, hire the freelancer with a portfolio or based on the recommendations. So this is the number one where we're seeing that it's a failing. At the same time, a lot of customers, they're saying, oh, we have 3K budget on a monthly basis to spend. I'm not saying you cannot achieve nothing with 3K on a monthly basis, but at the same time, it's not a lot, right, to drive significant results or test out different approaches. So the another angle is to understand is it scale game for you right now, or you need to be focused and maybe even finding different ways how to gain the first traffic, like organic. TikTok, TikTok drive traffic from organic, right? Instead of
if you're low on capital, if you cannot invest that capital with paid advertising and stuff, then you have to figure out the organic game.
100%, yeah. So and the other things is that the most innovative brands that I have seen in the market, like all the, you name them, right?
Yeah.
So they never stop innovating in a way of different angles and different approaches. They never will say no to so many things, because they need to, UGC is just a one format. It's important, but there are so many other formats that you can test out, like catalog ads, if your SKU is great. I just want to give a shout about our friends at Marpipe.
Yeah, shout out to Marpipe. We're in their office.
So
shout out.
Yeah, so that's why it does make sense, right? So you need to slice it down and understand, but within the UGC you can test out on so many things. I do believe that I'm not that professional in catalog ads, but you can also test and learn so many other things. I just recently heard that you can do videos in catalog ads right now. So Meta is allow you. So there are a lot of different angles. So that's why where I'm seeing that the best winners is actually those who are constantly testing something and deep dive in something that is working until it works.
So it's, from what you said, and also that has been my experience, creative strategy and just dialing in that aspect is pretty much like a business inside of the business.
Exactly.
Right? It's the whole department that ideally you want to build eventually, right? As you mentioned, there is a creative strategist, that's super important role. Obviously, you have the media buyer. Have you seen creative strategist and media buyer being the same person, or it's usually two separate people for the best results?
We have seen that someone with experience in media buying can execute some of the roles of creative strategist. There are some of the folks who can master that. Though typically we see that it's two different roles, because even though media buying is simplified right now, I'm not saying it's simple. It's not simple at all. So even though Meta is helping you with Advantage Plus and so on, still you need to put a lot of efforts and making sure that everything is executed well. Either you're working with the agency or you're managing the campaigns yourself, right? So that's why it's typically two separate roles, and that's why a lot of e-commerce brands, they're actually hiring agencies right now, D2C agencies, because of the creative strategy. So sometimes it's costly to have someone in-house, or it just doesn't make sense, or you have no idea how to set up the things. So in that case, you can plug it in with some of the agency who actually knows the whole drill. So, but at the same time, we have seen that you're leveraging the both services, like creative strategy plus media buying, because it does make sense.
Would you say creative strategist is kind of skill set for creative strategists, for great creative strategists, is pretty much like a copywriter, right? I mean, they would have to write the briefs. They would have to write kind of the guidelines for the content creators. So they would have to be good with copy. What other skills they would have to be good at?
You would be surprised. I'm not a creative strategist myself. I was talking to the best in the game. But what I've been observed that creative strategists, even though they have creative in the name, they're not that creative. It's more analytical skills and researcher skills rather than, oh, let me create the next Coca-Cola campaign, right? So it's not about Coca-Cola campaign. It's not something that you're going to be a file for the cons and trying to win with this advertising. No one give a shit about that in e-commerce. Everyone is what they focus on is sales, right?
Yeah.
What is the return on what I spent?
You're spending $1, you want $2, $3,
Exactly,
$5.
and scalable way, right? And then economics is going to be working. So that's why what we learned that the creative strategist is the person with analytical skills. So it's not about creating the idea; it's more about understanding what actually worked and what is not. So the person is working with media buying team like really closely, understanding like every single detail. And there are some softwares for that. You can leverage ads platform; they're pretty solid. But if you want to have something unified, there is a software called Motion. So in that case, you can take a look on the creatives from different angles, like a hook rate, right? So like first 3 seconds, right? So like different ways how you can approach that. So this is the analytical part of the work. But at the same time, you need to be a researcher. This is the second one. So meaning that you need to understand what's happening like in trends. So you need to be active user of TikTok, Snap, you name it, like all platforms, just to understand like what is the trending, like music, movements, other ideas. There is another software that can help you for Play. So Zach is a founder, is a great friend. So that's the way you need to learn. You need to be there and understand like what's going on. So it definitely helps you to build a different dashboards and understand like what's going on. So this is the second part. And only the third part, it's more about like creative part. And copywriting, I'm not saying that copywriting right now could be automated in many ways with AI. Like AI is like Gen AI, ChatGPT, and other softwares. So they can help you in many ways, right? So you feed your creative brief within the prompts with some reviews on Amazon or on your Shopify store, right? Like a negative and so on. And you ask like to attack that. And you would be surprised, the work is pretty solid. Then you need to like guide and tweak some of the items, but you don't need to be a professional copywriter right now. So that's why I would say like being a researcher, being analytic, it's the first two skills that I would say you should be looking when you're hiring creative strategists.
One of the things you mentioned, which is quite interesting. So let's say you're advertising on Meta, and Meta is your main channel. You would still do that research on other platforms, right?
100%.
Interesting. So not just like on Meta, like how most people do it, like from my, just observation, probably how you've seen it, it's like, oh yeah, what's my competitors? Okay, let's rip the copy, right? Just change few words, let's run with it, right? That's
coming back to your first question, better UGC, right? Better UGC is you copy pasting what everyone else does, right? So that's why you need to understand like, okay, within Meta, everyone does this. Maybe being advertiser, being different, it makes sense to try something that actually works on Snap and test out that on Meta. Maybe it's not going to work, but maybe it does. You're going to be different.
At what stage, we also touched on this before we started recording. Let's say people utilizing your platform, or they doing, sourcing creators like manually from other platforms. At what stage would you recommend like hiring creators full-time, or like setting them up on retainers, like after, how many pieces of content at what benchmarks? It's
interesting because this is one of the behavior that we recognize on that happening on our platform a couple of years ago. That a lot of brands, they found new faces. They started working with some of the creators on multiple campaigns, and then they can continue executing these long-term relations within the platform. So, and the reason why what's going on, right? So they were saying that we are signing up a retainer with a few UGC creators and continue leveraging your platform because it's just easier to automate the entire process. And the reason here is super simple. when it does make sense. First, once you figure out that UGC actually works for you, because UGC, it's not for any brand. I'm not saying like every single brand in the world should be leveraging UGC. For some of the brands, it could be a disaster, right? That's why once you figure out that UGC actually works for you and you understand like how to keep iterating on that, and you have the creative strategy, the things that we discussed with you, right, before. This is number one. The second one, why do you need UGC? And it's also connected to when. It's you need to work on your social media profile as a brand. So if you have TikTok or Instagram account and you're running the ads with that, so what customers does, they going to this brand, clicking brand handle, going to your account and seeing this is a dead account. Nothing is posted there. Would you buy something out of this?
Probably not.
Probably not, because it's dead, right? So I'm not sure if you even fulfill the order, right? So that's why you need to produce a lot of content for your own social account, and for that you need UGC. What we found that it doesn't make sense to hire, let's say, 2, 5, even 10 UGC creators, the best in the game, and produce content only with them for your ads. It doesn't make sense. It does not.
Oh, wow.
And the reason, but what it does to hire like 2 or even 10 UGC creators, it's to produce the content for your own channels. That's number one. Secondly, to test out really fast some of the ideas, but then scale with the new faces, because new faces and new approaches on the same theme, let's put it like topic, the
angle maybe for the
angle. So it does make sense to test that like with your own creators, though, like scale with the new ones.
So let's say you have like a winning script,
yeah,
just like absolutely crushing. Maybe you have few of those. So would you just go and like send that same script or outline, same brief to like 10, 20, 30 more traders and have them replicate that very kind of like similar?
I would say like test like with your own creators, right? Like the ones that are on a retainer. But then once you figure out that it actually works, it does make sense. So then you go like and hire new creators to work on this on the same angle.
What are because you have so much data, like, your top clients, like medium clients, maybe like on a kind of on the lower performance side, with your top clients, like how many creators they're working with, kind of like any benchmarks on that?
Just yesterday, we have all hands every Tuesday bi-weekly. So yesterday we had this all hands, and we have customer stories, and we are lucky enough that we have 5 figures in our customers, because we treat our creators as a customers, even though like they are not paying us money, right? So, but we treat them as a customer. So we have brands and we have creators, and we're sharing both stories. And yesterday it was presented one of the story that I didn't know that. And sometimes I'm just like, wow, what's going on? So it was presented by our customer success lead, Tiago, who was saying that one of the brand, I'm not sure, like it's in the beauty space.
Okay.
I'm not sure, like, can I disclose that yet or not, because it's not public case study yet. So they leveraged Insense for a few months, 5 or 6 months, and they work with 785 creators.
Oh, wow.
785. I was even surprised. So
do you see any visibility, like how much like ad spend that more or less?
We don't have the visibility per the client account. At least yet, though we know how much the spend was in the first 4 months for all of our accounts. It was close to 9 figures already, like within the 4 months.
9 figures?
9 figures, like almost.
9 figures is $100 million?
Yeah, close to that.
$100 million?
$100 million behind our creative that have been produced on Insense, on Meta.
$100 million on Meta?
Yeah.
In how many?
It's what Meta reported us, but they are reporting us for 4 months.
In the beauty space?
No, in like across the whole.
Okay, you're kind of like consolidated.
Yeah, but still like pretty solid result, right?
Yeah.
So across 1,700 brands. So
it's probably 80-20, right?
Yeah.
There's like some top performers. There's like 80%. It usually breaks down like that.
So, and also we don't have the visibility for those content that have been produced on Insense. They all like have been edited outside of the platform, so we don't have the visibility. So it's the ad spend, it's definitely more than that. But coming back to your question, so what is the how many creators we have seen that brands typically working, I would say the average one, it's 20, 50 creators a month. Top lines, it's hundreds.
Okay.
So brands like Thrasio or like this beauty brand, so they are leveraging a platform for working with the hundreds.
Is Strider still like operating their brands? Oh wow, interesting.
Like we are primarily platform for the last 3 years, so they are still leveraging heavily us. TikTok Shop.
TikTok Shop. Yeah, I've seen some of their brands like very
massive. So yeah, but smaller brands, I would say 10-ish creators on a monthly basis.
I think there's a great lesson in here. Just like in terms of how much variety. Like if you want to spend, let's say, I don't know, 100, 200, I mean, 500, $1 million per month on ads, like you just have to give, platforms so many different variables, so many different faces. And it just kind of, I think, that insight just, I've seen that myself, with our business, with, people that I have seen, it just makes so much sense. And just reinforcing that for people watching that you really want to double down, especially if you're profitable, like you're having some momentum. What would make a lot of sense is just like you're making profit from the business, just continue reinvesting and back into like new creative and just, I don't know, is there any specific, like, would you say, okay, let's say brand spends $100,000 per month on ads. Like what percentage of that, because there is obviously media spend, right? You're paying to Mr. Zuck, right? Yeah. Like, so, he can get richer, but then you're also paying for the creatives. Like what percentage, how would you split that $100,000, let's say budget?
Hard to say, but let's say like if it's $100,000, right? In that split, I would say 1 to 10. So that's the ratio that we've observed. It does make sense. And what is the applicable for the market?
So let's say you're spending $100,000, then
let's say 10K-ish, you're going to be spending on producing creatives.
You would get quite a lot. How much on average, like, does it cost to generate like a piece of, let's say UGC content on your platform?
Like a simple one, $50. Just one video, like with one hook and so on. I would say if you work with a more professional creators, it's 150 to 100-ish.
Okay.
Like going to 400. But those people who knows the drill, they're going to be saving a lot of money, what I'm saying. So because you can chase down like a lot of newbies in the space who can, they have no idea about this creative briefing.
You create a Twitter account, you put, UGC creator like in title, and you're in business, right?
Yeah. And you're going to be spending like a lot of time on educating them, even on our platform, because we have new creators, right? So in that case, you're going to be spending a lot of time on educating. If you want to have something faster from more professional with the different hooks, and you would be surprised with the result, pay more money. Makes sense.
So that you have seen direct correlation between the experience and kind of the track record of people and the output that they produce.
100%.
Oh, wow.
We have a recommendation system in terms of the price.
Interesting. How we also touched on this before we started recording. So how has UGC content, like in general, has evolved? As you mentioned, 2021 was pretty simple, just kind of wide ocean, like not many people have been using it. Now it's more widespread. You said 70-80% of ads in the ad library are utilizing UGC content in some shape or form. So how that has evolved, kind of in terms of the overall like approach, and then where do you see that's going in the next like 3 to 5 years?
It's became more professional. It's less let's produce for the scale kind of issue. Like we need hundreds of new UGC per month. You need hundreds of UGC per month because you need to edit them, and you need to make sure that you are not going to be running some content that just doesn't make sense to run, right? So it's more about quality gain rather than quantity gain. That's number one. The second one is that it's became harder to vet what kind of creators you should work with. So that's why you need to understand, like, there are some UGC agencies, some UGC platforms, or platforms like Insense, which is not UGC platform, but creator platform. So there are different players that you can approach, and the vetting process, it's much harder right now because so many people claim that they UGC creators and they are not, or you're going to be paying a lot of money for them to be educated because they're going to be producing not that great content. This is the second one. I think in terms of the understanding what is inside of the video itself, have been learned a ton, right? So because when we say like hooks, body, CTA, this is the three main parts. But inside of the body, there are way more, like problem, solution, benefits of the product, right? So personal story. Yeah. So there are and moreover, it could be way different. Some of the parts you can get rid of that. Some of the parts you can have this. So the type of the content. So it could be testimonial, how to. It could be product demo. So the concept of the UGC could be different. Purpose of UGC, it could be working on the upper funnel, or it could be closer to mid funnel or even lower funnel. So it's so different. So it's not longer, UGC. UGC is just one of the ways how to approach the things. So that's why I think it's going to be more and more evolving in that front. And also, if you're talking about the future, I think AI will play a lot of and already playing a lot of bigger role in this game. And the reason why, because before that, like backstage videos like B-rolls and so on, it was like you need to record and so on, just to showcasing how you there's a coffee brand, right? And then you need to pour coffee and so on. Right now, you can produce a lot of content there and just mash up that with a real UGC. So UGC is going to be the mix of both AI generated and the real UGC. So it's going to be like mixed in one. So I think that's where we're heading if we're talking about UGC.
We also touched on like AI, like in general. Let's say, there's these new platforms like Creatify. There's another one, I forgot the name, where you can create like an AI creator, right? Okay, I don't want to deal with anyone. I don't want to deal with humans. Humans obviously are hard to deal with.
Right.
I don't want to like communicate. I would just want to go ahead and create like my own AI person that will talk, whatever I'll put in the script, and AI will make it, more or less like realistic. But you just mentioned that, there's regulations that come to that. And so, if you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, it's disappointing me and sometimes even makes me angry when I see on Twitter another folk who are saying, oh, the days of UGC creators counted, so like it's not longer the game, so everything is going to be replaced by AI. Well, not in the near future, because it's already regulated by FTC. So the new FTC guidance and regulations, the last ones and the hardest one were released last summer, and they continue updating that. So there are a few things, right? And I was double checking that with Meta and TikTok also. So one of the items that you should disclose that it's AI generated.
Where do you need to disclose it?
In the ads.
In the ad copy?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
In the first second.
In the first second?
In the first second.
Oh.
So for that, TikTok.
Your conversion rate was just like.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, until we are not got used to that, right? So it became a normal, right? But you have to disclose that in the first second. And moreover, right now TikTok has built this. I guess like Meta has built that because they should follow FTC, right? Guidelines. It should be claimed there. This is the regulation number one to keep in mind, because if you're playing that with your business account right now, and then and you're not playing by rules, or you don't know the rules, no one give a shit about that. So this is the basically what it could be fines from FTC, and it was a few fines. I think that's showcasing that you've been leveraging that. That's number one. And secondly, FTC is not going to be chasing every single e-commerce brand. They will chase Meta, TikTok, Snap, and other platforms, and they make them to be responsible for that. And it's confirmed when I was talking to them. So basically, once they identify that it's been AI generated UGC, but it was not disclosed as the AI generated in the like per regulations. So basically, your account going to be blocked. Not ad campaign. Your business account is going to be got blocked. Wow. So do not play with that. That's number one. Or just follow. Just learn. Just educate yourself, right? This is number one. The second one, which is even stricter.
The alternative to that, though, right? Like, so let's say if you do everything by the book, right? Alternatively, just working with good creators, they obviously record, their content. It's fully, real, right? Like it's real people. Then you should have no problem.
You should have no problem. So and the second regulations are even harder for consumable products. So everything that is supplied on your body or consumable inside of your body, right? So basically, a lot of e-commerce brands could be in that space, right? So any supplement brands, beauty brands, and so on. So it's prohibited, as simple as it is. You cannot create UGC that is going to be with AI that is going to be fake UGC, because imagine like you're telling the story with AI. So I have the acne, and but then I applied this new cream, and then there is no Alex, there is no person. It's non-existent. So I would say I can understand these regulations because I don't want to be misguided in that space. And someone can say that, UGC is also about the creators who never saw or tried this product, but it's on them. I can ask them. They're a real person who can I can approach and say like, what's going on, or actors, With the AI, it's not user-generated content. There's no user. It's generated content, but why it should be presented by the person who doesn't exist. So this is something to remember about when you're playing with the AI in that particular space.
Do you see, let's say, like AI voiceovers, like 11 Labs, those kind of things? Is that segment also like regulated?
First of all, it's not legal advice, right? So that's the something to disclosure even earlier than before what I'm saying about AI and the UGC. But from what I understand and from what I've been followed from Robert Friend, there is a lawyer in Twitter.
He's on Twitter, yeah.
Like he's the best. Like I know the guys. Like he's the best. Like just follow him, just understand what's going on in the space from the legal perspective. But anyway, so like. It seems like voiceovers, like AI-generated voiceovers, or even captions, it's not something applicable to that. So it's more about like the person who is showcasing there. So I think this is the best way how to leverage that. So someone can test the product, recording video, and then you apply AI to make sure that this video is going to be performing well by voiceovers or captions or whatever, right? Or finding the different angles, how to showcase the real video. So I think this is, that's why I'm not against AI. I'm fully supportive of AI, but like it's more about like how AI can support you, can enrich the content and the data that you have.
And make it more efficient as well.
Exactly. So that's why I don't think that the voice servers are falling under these rules.
And I mean, with that, one of the things that we do in our business is to, let's say, like test a new script. Obviously, we can test it to content creator to record like the whole, piece of content, the whole like UGC, for instance. But let's say you have like a lot of B-roll from, different creators like that using the product, applying the product. They're like in different, maybe they're outside, they're in the bathroom, they're in the kitchen. And then
mashups.
Yeah.
You're gonna create mashups around them by just feeding this to some of the tools who can place that in the right way. Great, awesome.
Yeah.
Because for that, like it's kind of like a manual work. It's something labor that we want AI to execute. We want to be focused on something is really important, like a strategy or creative work. This is kind of like, it's not creative work, right? It's basically placing like with different angles and just having dozens of the content of the different ad creatives out of the content that you currently have. So this is something that we should feed AI to make this work happen. So yeah, I think it does make sense.
For sure. So we talked about like TikTok Shop, and you mentioned that the TikTok Shop, since it has been introduced, it just completely changed the dynamic and the whole like overall like social media, like social kind of like commerce. Can you elaborate on that? Like what trends you have seen, happening already with TikTok Shop, and also where do you see it's going in the next few years?
Where it would go, it's a different topic about TikTok ban in the US. We can touch that later on. But with the TikTok shop particularly, yes, it did change the whole landscape, and it's still changing. The reason is pretty much simple, is that TikTok shop they cracked the game. So in a way that they put organic affiliate relations on the first place to drive sales and make the situation win-win for basically everyone. For TikTok, because they are making money out of the GMV, for creator who are making percentage and like thousands of dollars out of this GMV, and for a merchant who is ready to share, let's say, 30% of the deal with TikTok and creator, because it does make sense, because that's the kind of like CAC that I'm ready to pay. So it's basically a win-win situation. And paid is more about like a booster. So it's more about like helping to scale rather than to be on the first place. Because if you would remember that Meta tried to do these Meta shops in 2021, 2022, but in 2022, they kind of like I wouldn't call it shut down, but they geo-prioritized the whole like a shopping tab inside of the Instagram and so on. And they completely switched the game from being more like affiliate organic and creator-led towards advertising. And I think like back in times, it was a smart move, because you should do what you know how to do, right? So Meta is the advertising company, as Zach told to Senator, like who they are, right?
We run ads.
Yeah, we run ads, right? So like you run ads, they know about ads, everything. So it doesn't make sense for Meta to drive the traffic from the advertising to your shops and then making the transactions. But at the same time, if you are not able to run these ads profitably, so it's the game of media buying. So like whenever I'm driving that to my shops or I'm driving to my Shopify store, so like it's more about like a destination. So it wasn't that successful, right? It was like it found some niche there, but it wasn't that successful. Why TikTok Shop is different, because they cracked the game, like how to partner up with creators to drive organic traffic. So 70% of GMV that generated on TikTok Shop on average have been driven by creators.
Oh, wow.
Creator affiliates, like meaning that influencers. And when we are saying that influencers, you would imagine that it's something bigger, right? Like a millions of followers or views. And no, it's not. So it's like anyone. And that's the beauty of TikTok Shop. Why TikTok? Because TikTok is different. TikTok is a content-driven. First, it's a creator-driven platform, meaning that if you're interested in hockey today and you are not longer interested in hockey in 2 years, so TikTok is not going to be showing you anything about hockey, right? So it doesn't matter like whom you're following. It's more about like what you're watching and how you're watching content, right? And the topics there. So that's why if you don't have a lot of followers, though the content is starting performing and becoming more viral, so TikTok is going to be prioritized as showcasing you, no matter like how many followers you have. And then if you could click and make a purchase, user is going to be you're going to be getting the cut. So that's why the whole magic happened within the platform. So that's why TikTok Shop is thriving the best right now, because they found this unique model, whereas it's organic first and creator first, and then paid, right? Paid is important, but it's more like a booster rather than the first place. And that's why a lot of businesses right now in the space, like YouTube, Meta, Snap, Pinterest, they kind of like starting browsing around. So obviously Meta Shop is going to be completely relaunched. They just recently announced the partnership with Amazon. YouTube just announced yesterday about the partnership with Shopify, where it's going to be plugging in. So yeah, it's TikTok Shop changed the whole game in e-commerce.
So it kind of like forced all of these platforms to also start looking in this direction, like at least like partially.
Yeah.
Because like they need to catch up.
100%.
Interesting. So you mentioned about TikTok ban, right? Which is kind of, it's been, how many times they talked about this? They talked about this for like last 5 years or so.
Yeah, so the first real talk was 4 years ago before the elections, when Trump announced this you need to find a acquirer for yourself. And then like once the election happened, like everyone forgot for 4 years that any defense issues or wherever like influence, foreign influence is going to be happening. Like 4 years, we were living like okay-ish, right? And then like pre-elections, and again, like we remember about that. So yeah, it's the bill is signed, as we know, right? It's going to take a few months, like 9 to 12 months until the court will decide whether it's according to the First Amendment or not. So we don't know like what's going on, right? So and we don't know like what's happened. So the worst case scenario is that TikTok is going to be banned in the US, but what does it mean in practical words is that new users cannot install the app. So basically the growth questions. But so far as I can understand that you still can buy media on TikTok, even in the US. It's not going to be prohibited, at least as it is right now, right? But then it's still TikTok is a global platform, and for instance, like the UK is the second market for Insense, so and it's not going to be banned there, most probably. At least there are no rumors for now. So and then Canada, Australia, Germany, so all of the markets that we're covering, so we still can operate. That's the worst case scenario, right? The best case scenario, I guess, after elections, while it was the longer conversation, so on, everyone will forget, and then yeah, nothing will happen. So basically business as usual. But I guess like the real case scenario, it's that it's going to be some acquisition or merge of the US company here, and then ByteDance is basically going to be backed the whole algo and so on, and getting the cut. Though like it's going to be presented by one of the majors like Amazon, Oracle. I mean, before that was Oracle for whatever reason. So, but I guess the best fit is going to be like Amazon, because Amazon is lacking social component in their game, right? So, and
do you think kind of like, I mean, this kind of conspiracy theories, do you think that's something that, you know, some of these platforms kind of like push to happen?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
so TikTok is like, I mean, I think it caused them to freak out, I guess, in a way, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, wow, I mean,
they really changed the game. They still a minor game. So compared with Amazon, right, Walmart, they because TikTok Shop is a marketplace. This is something that people are not realizing. The TikTok Shop is a marketplace. It's like Amazon or Walmart. So and both companies are, I mean, compared with the TikTok Shop, TikTok Shop is nothing compared with them. Though, like they also seeing that they cannot build a social network and make people to spend time there to present the things. So, like Amazon built the Inspire tab, where you can take a look on new things and so on. But I mean, you're not going to Amazon to spend there. I mean, some people will go there. I'm going there like to the search bar, typing in what I need, and then might be consider like other options based on the advertising or recommendation engine, right? But in the first place, it's not something that I'm going to be spending my time there, like just observing, researching, following, and whatsoever. So that's why I think they have this issue of having the risks of losing momentum. So
and market share
in the end of the day. I'm not saying that it's going to be like kind of the critical urgency, but who knows, right? So it's conspiracy, but you know, that's the things how it works. It's called lobby. So yeah, I think some of the companies, they push the needs, push the right buttons.
What do you think about Temu?
Temu is
I think it's probably the biggest advertiser right now, like one of the biggest.
Based on the data that have been disclosed, that it's is it like 10 or 15% of Meta ad revenue from the last year?
Holy shit!
Yeah, I think like someone were saying like I saw like 20% of revenue. I don't believe that, but it's significant. I have no idea, right? It's what I've been reading in articles and so on, based on the available data. But it's massive, and it seems like they're number one right now as the ad spender.
What is their creative like? I mean, I haven't looked in their ads. Kind of like do they utilize UGC, or it's mostly just the like image ads?
Different. First of all, like image ads, so less UGC. Cheap, like really cheap, because it's a cheap. It's a cheap solution.
You ever bought anything from Temu, like yourself?
I bought once. It's just to test out like the whole flow. So it's like it's AliExpress in a way. So like it's a cheap products, weird products. So I'm not sure. Like it's not something that I'm gonna be using, to be honest. But they experience a lot of problems right now. So I guess they announced that they're gonna be pulling the ad spend from the US because a lot of questions there are happening, and I just recently heard that in Europe it's happening the same. So basically, Temu had been questioned.
There used to be Wish.com, right?
Yeah,
Was similar business model. Do you remember?
in a way,
Like,
yeah.
it was
Cheap weirdo products.
Yeah. And I mean that company. I remember at some point they have been like the biggest advertiser on Meta, or one of the biggest ones, and they kind of ran and then.
Yeah. To be honest, like I understand this business model. If you're spending like billions of dollars on ad spend, what is the volume should be there just to justify that? Given that AOV of this the whole marketplace is not that high, so
Can you get those customers to come back? Like, can you retain them?
Yeah.
Like if
I would say like for us it's actually good news, and the reason is simple because it's for our customers is good news. A lot of e-commerce brands, they have been reported in D2C Twitter that they've been seeing some of the spikes last year or early this year, and it's just recently became way better to spend on Meta because the auction is not that competitive. So Temu like were buy out like a lot of in auction, and then it was not that easy to buy media when there is a major player who is disrupting the whole market by pushing more ads than like stopping push more ads. So auction is kind of like starting like fluctuating, and then you don't understand how to build your media buying strategy. So actually it's a good news that when you have one disruptor who is disrupting all media buying on Meta, so customers are starting running less ads, producing less ads. So yeah, for us it's good news.
Awesome. So what is the kind of back to UGC kind of and your like your area of expertise? You know, there's obviously some people that have cracked UGC content creation like on a scale, working with different traders. But there's also, you know, big segment of people that maybe have tried UGC, maybe it didn't work for them for some reason. Like, what would you say to those people? And they say, you know, UGC is that, and they start to believe kind of, you know, that message that is like, yeah, UGC is that. Yeah, probably UGC is that. And
I would say maybe you're right. But it really depends on how much you spend and what is the volume of your business. Because static images are wrapping up like past 2 years. So we have seen that static images are performing not bad, but I would say really well. So do not give up on static image. It's wrapping up back. At the same time, like what I will say to those people is that if you are attacking the whole media buying from one angle, so let's say doing like only static images, or you're doing only catalog ads. So either your business is all about this and it just doesn't make sense until it works and scale with a profitable unit economics, go for it. Why do you need to experiment that if there is a scale and you have money to spend? But if it's not that scalable and so on, try to learn a bit more about UGC, test influencer whitelisting ads, approach at different angles, but again, like putting the creative strategy first.
So did you see the correlation between also your top, let's say your top clients, and let's say top 10% of your clients, do all of them use whitelisting like on a scale? Like, is that something kind of like almost as mandatory to achieve like even higher scale? Like once you get to the ceiling or, you know, some kind of like limitations on your own page, like have you seen that as being like another like area of expansion for these most successful brands?
I wouldn't call that it's kind of like one more area if you're getting to the ceiling. So like the way how we explain whitelisting these days, and we were one of the first company who invented the whole concept back in 2017, late 2016. There were 3 companies who actually started working on that front. And I remember that I was personally calling to creators and explain how to connect their Facebook page to our Facebook page. So in that case, we can to our Facebook business manager and then to reshare this access, like literally.
And within your platform right now, you have like for whitelisting, like it's everything is done, right? Like you.
Yeah, it's one click. So and with the official APIs of the platform, so like Meta and so and TikTok.
So you can run ads.
New York,
right? Right. So you can run ads basically like from within your platform. You can just easily access your content creator pages and run ads from that.
Exactly. So you don't need to spend like hours explaining or setting up the things and so on. And more like there is a point about FTC compliant whitelisting. We can touch that a bit later. Mm-hmm. But answering your question, whitelisting, the way how we explain whitelisting. So you already partner up with the influencer, right? And the key purpose in the end of the day is getting the content first, right? So content is the king, right? So that's why we are working with the UGC creators, micro influencers, content. We need content, right? So you ship you find the creator, you vet the creator like influencer, and then you ship the product, and then they produce the content, and then it was the couple of iterations. You provided some feedback, you created the content. So the hard work is done. Creating the content. This is the hard work. Mm-hmm. So whitelisting, we're saying that it's one more multiplier to your ad efforts. So meaning that it's something that you can feed to Meta, to Advantage Plus or whatever, like one more angle, because you can run the ads with the same content that have been produced by a creator and then even edited from the influencer handle and brand handle. And sometimes influencer handle can outperform brand handle by twice or vice versa. Sometimes it's not, right? But it's a one more angle to feed to Meta to find the winner. So that's why you already have done a lot of work. So it doesn't make sense for you to give up on a whitelisting. So whitelisting is again, multiplier. So X2 by your efforts. So makes sense because
relatively easy to do as well, right? If you work
with the automation, exactly. So this is really important to understand. That's why I'm not saying like if you reach out like upselling, selling, then it's kind of like you would run whitelisting and then you can scale twice. No, it's not going to be that contribution, but it's more going to be helping you to double down on the content that have been produced with the influencers more and more in finding the best winners. And maybe you're going to be running the ads way longer with a whitelisted ads or not whitelisted ads, but Meta will decide, right? So that's what we need to do right now. It's a feed more information there. So yeah, but FTC compliance for whitelisting.
Oh yeah. It's fascinating. Yeah, I'm learning so much.
I'm learning from Robert again, like on Twitter, Robert friend. So it's the guy like knows everything. I am learning like from him, like literally. That's why I love D2C Twitter, right? So he also showcased some like whitelisting. So it was some of the new regulations that happened last year around the whole concept of whitelisting. So it's not only about whitelisting, it's actually about influencer marketing, because influencer marketing have been regulated by FTC for a long time, like years, right? So new regulations. So you need to disclose by adding the hashtag, like sponsored, add, whatsoever. So it's not longer compliant. So like having the just ad, it's not longer compliant. It's not enough. Oh. So moreover, like whitelisting. So you whitelist influencer handle, and it says like sponsored because it's ad, right? It's sponsored. Yeah. And then the influencer handle and sponsored. It's already disclosed first, second. No longer compliant, because what FTC regulates right now, and the all platforms is following, is the full disclosure of influencer sponsored partnership with what brand. So Alex, right? Influencer handle Alex, and sponsored. It's not longer enough. But Alex with Starbucks, so it's called partnership ads. So right now you have to disclose even within the content wise, or using the official instruments called partnership ads on Meta, with what brand you are running your partner up.
So that is a compliant way to do it.
Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Because yeah, I have seen some brands like on the ad library, they're doing it in this way. So. And there are certain ones that just running ads just completely, from just influencer pages. So
That's why
these are two different ways, basically.
Yeah, and we shut down the old ones because right now Robert already shared that it's been fines in the space, and FTC is going to be like pushing Meta. Meta is pushing us. Like they saying like
Insense, your company,
yes, because we have like they've been pushed. They pushing their partners in that front. But in return, Meta provided us with the early access to build the whole like flows, which is compliant. So it's called Partnership Ads API. So like we put in the place. So right now it's whole automated. But a lot of people they're still doing like this whitelisting, and moreover they creating the fake Facebook pages of the person that doesn't exist and running the like. Well, reconsider work with some of the agencies who are still doing this. This is not FTC. If you would ready to pay fines and dealing with Meta, why you are doing that? Maybe because Meta is going to be blocking your account. Continue doing that, but I will double check. So partnership ads.
Partnership ads. Wow, this is a great piece of advice. TikTok Shop. Do you is Insense like on Insense? Can you hire some creators that would work with TikTok Shop?
Yeah, we became an official TikTok Shop partner, which is different from TikTok Creative Tech partner, right? TikTok Creative partner we've been for 4 or 5 years. For TikTok Shop, we just got badged this February, so it's a different team. The focus is completely different. So for TikTok, like general TikTok, ad spend is a North Star metric, right? So like how much you're putting ad dollars behind the creative that have been produced on Insense, for instance. For TikTok Shop, it's GMV. What was the sales that happening like because of the creator affiliates or the content that have been produced on Insense?
So do you guys have visibility on that data?
We do have visibility on this data. It's not yet plugged inside of the platform because this is something that we're still waiting from the team once they're going to be building this in the API. So TikTok Shop API right now is more focused on the fulfillment, that kind of stuff. It's not yet focused on creator. We do have the visibility, though we are not able to plug in this data inside of the platform. Though you can find the creators, we have the param inside of the marketplace where you can say like TikTok Shop partner and running the ads and finding the right creators who is going to be opt-in and those creators who already have some experience with the TikTok Shop.
Nice. How many creators do you guys have on the platform?
So right now it's 50,000 vetted creators.
50, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
50,000 but in our database it's a few mil. So whenever there is a campaign, so we need to extend our database. So we're approaching to this extended database. Those people who haven't heard about Insense yet, though, like we can offer some of the campaigns and they joining the platform.
Oh, interesting. So you keep them vetted. Like, I mean, we had I don't know if we touched on this, like you vetting your creators.
We're vetting our creators. I think this is the biggest difference, and that's the reason why so many brands, they're coming for us for TikTok Shop campaign, even though you can do like this TikTok Shop campaign with the creators in the native affiliate center. Yeah. So it's pretty solid solution. Not the best, but like it's developing real fast. But still, the problem is that with affiliate center, you're going to be reach out, I don't know, let's say 4,000 creators, like just DMing them and sending the like wherever VA you hired like in the Philippines. But the problem is that you will receive around like 40 creators who are actually going to be joining the campaign. So like the success rate is going to be not that low, not that higher. And the reason why, because the ways how it's arranged, and at the same time, so many brands are approaching different creators.
So many people are going after the same people. Like
yeah, exactly. It's 50, 100 messages per day.
Oh wow.
Creators got lost, and more like the majority of, not the majority, 99% of these messages are like, hey, first name. Like people don't want to reply, hey, first name, you know. They want to be treated as the partner, as the affiliate partner. So that's why like we are extension. We're not replacing for the affiliate center. We are the extension. Once you want to build your name, because for the creators, it's really important to understand that if they're going to be promoting some of the brand or even SKU, that's actually generate GMV. So it's something that is already wrapping up. It's already prioritized in the algo, right? And people will see that there is a reviews happening. It's something, right? So that's why a lot of people, they're approaching us as the extension for more quality campaigns. It's less scale, but it's more about quality campaigns. So yeah, but we're vetting all of our creators.
Interesting. Yeah. So this is one of the, pretty much what you have done is kind of obviously using technology and like so many different like data points, simplified this whole, I mean, there's so many ways. I mean, you can go on Fiverr and hire creators. Like you can go on Upwork, you can go like, you know, like below, right? Like which I have heard like, you know, mostly not the best reviews. And what you have done is pretty much like kind of, you know, simplify that process for people to find really good creators, because it's more about quality than just pure quantity.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we started this business, because it's actually came up from the needs of my brother, who is a co-founder of Insense. So he ran a couple of e-commerce shops, successfully exited both, and then he founded his social media boutique agency. And then he was starting partnering up with other e-commerce brands. Back in the days, like 10 years ago, he figured out that influencer content is going to be the most performing in ads and more like whitelisting. That's how he came up with an idea.
He was early to the game.
Like 10 years ago, when it wasn't the thing. Like UGC, we never spoke about UGC in the way that we're talking about that right now. So, and then he was starting to do that, but it wasn't scalable. So that's why how the whole idea of Insense have been raised from the needs of being agency, being in the shoes of brands. So that's why, yeah, we're trying to automate every single step, just to making sure that you as a brand is going to be focusing on it's really important for your business, which is how to scale my brand, how to run profitable business, how to untouch different angles. So for instance, you're a D2C brand and then you're tapping into the world of Walmart, you're going to retail. So that's what you need to focus in your business. You don't need to focus on how to DM yourself to hundreds of creators, begging them to do anything for you. Right. So yeah, that's something that we are working on.
Awesome. So with Insense, you know, let's say for people watching, if they want to like give it a try, like what would you recommend? Do you have any special like you know, offers or anything like that for people that want to try it?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what we realized over the course of the past few years, we are a solution for scaling. We're not the solution for beginners. So if you're running a business that is doing over 1 mil in GMV, at least 1 mil on
per month or per year?
Per year.
Okay.
I would say like 5 mil is ideal, but 1 mil is it's already like decent, and you do have some ad spend. So in that case, it makes sense to come to us. So you can approach me. We can always figure out, and I think we're going to be giving some special offer. For your audience.
We'll drop it in the description.
Yeah, so in that case, you can just test out and see like whether it works for you or not. I'm always would love to chat with you. So even though like we have a team, but I'm taking this as personal because it's my name, right? And I always curious to learn about new businesses. But yeah, if you're doing less than that, I would recommend like trying to do something manual, something cheaper, just to learn and test out. Until you are not ready to scale, it doesn't make sense to pay for some software, to be honest. That's what I also will learn, that we are also software and we are paying for software. So it doesn't make sense for us to pay something that it's not helping us to scale. So once we grew enough, we started paying for HubSpot as a CRM system, because it doesn't make sense for us. It helps us. But early days, doesn't make sense for us to pay a few grand a month for HubSpot. To be honest, like, no, we're just spending money.
Awesome. Danil, thank you so much. Been a great conversation.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. Big shout out to Marpipe for letting us use their office here. They have a beautiful office here in New York City. And yeah, we'll have, I think, another conversation with Marpipe another time. But thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I hope you got something from this conversation. I got a lot myself, and I've been in the game for a long time, but still, you know, there's every day there's something happening, and you're in the front lines. You're getting all these like fresh updates. You see what's going on. So
that's something that we love in e-commerce. Yeah. Every single day you learn something new.
Yeah, never-ending game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's keep building.
Keep building.